wonderful nerds and nerdettes. RuthAnn Thompson here, GeekChic Promotions for Ruse Day Tuesday. It's time to just hang out with me and talk about stuff. So this week I want to talk about just anime. I get a lot of questions because I'm known as the resident expert, and by no means do I think I'm an expert. I just watch a lot of anime and I really like it. So I know it can be really, really scary, really daunting. There is a lot of anime out there. So whenever somebody asks me like what anime would I like, it's too broad. That's like asking what TV show would I like. That's too many. Like, you gotta tell me, do you like action? Do you like horror? Do you like romance? Do you like, all of the above? So as my computer is trying to jump up here so I can actually connect everybody to this and see your comments, a little bit of how anime and I started, because I grew up in Montpelier, Vermont, tiny little place. There was no comic book store, no nothing. Luckily I was raised a nerd with Star Trek, Star Wars, all that malarkey. Hey Brandon, I'm so glad you could join. So how I started with anime was actually through friends. I don't know if anybody remembers, Adult Swim actually started on Sunday nights, and it was anime only. So I know there was Inuyasha, Cowboy Bebop. There's one mech one that I can't remember what it was called. Like, they turned into princesses or something. It was a little weird, but in general, like, it's not as scary as you think. There is a lot of like crazy ones. There's a lot of ones that don't make sense, but it can be super fun once you get into it. And of course, DBZ was another one of my first ones, and that was the first serial one that, I constantly followed and was a part of and all that kind of stuff. So, all right, just to start off the basics. So as you probably know, you see some that are subtitles with the original Japanese, or you have the dubbed versions with American, obviously, depending on what country you're from, they're dubbed in almost all languages. But there's a huge debate between dubbed versus subbed. Here is my explanation of dubbed versus subbed. Okay, so if there's a playhouse that's in a city that sometimes within a couple years they redo the same play, but it's a different director, different actor, but it's the same script. It's just like that. So it doesn't ruin it, whether it's dubbed or subbed. It just can be a very different anime. It can be a very different show. So, for example, older anime is a little bit more difficult dubbed. It's because we just weren't really used to it yet, and we didn't have much, the voiceover actors didn't have much direction, so it can be a little rough. But starting with, I would say Cowboy Bebop was the first anime that really keyed into really directing the actors, and it's an incredible show. So Cowboy Bebop is one of the most succinct, that used to be the go-to of how to get somebody into anime, where you'd say, okay, watch Cowboy Bebop. Like, for me, I own all of it. I've owned it since probably 2000 something. And what I do is I'll watch the whole thing over again subbed, and then the next time I'll watch it dubbed, because it's both excellent. They're just very different. So that's kind of how I feel about sub versus dub. I love subtitles. I love hearing the Japanese language. I love the characters. And also I am an anime addict, so it comes out first, subtitles. So usually that's how I watch it on a weekly basis. Again, let me see if I can pull this up because I can't see your comments. Maybe I just have too much stuff open. Let's see what I can do about that. Bam. Anyways, so let me see if I can kind of read these from the screen. Pardon me getting so up close and personal with you guys. Marco, he says he was watching Dragon Ball Super reactions the other day and saw me in one. I was like, I follow that person. Oh yeah, that's me. Yeah, I do Dragon Ball Super. That's one of the shows, obviously, that I keep up with pretty religiously because I am such an aggressive Dragon Ball Z fan. I watch Dragon Ball Super with all the Robot Underdog crew every weekend, Saturday night, so check it out. We watch it and live with everybody, then we review it live with everybody. It's super fun. So I guess I should just jump into what I'm watching at the moment. So at the moment, Dragon Ball Super, obviously. I also keep up with One Piece. I watched all of Naruto, Naruto Shippuden, and now the offshoot Boruto, which for any Naruto fans, it's I was afraid it was going to be terrible. Boruto is super fun. They really did well contemporizing it and making it very different but very similar at the same time. But all of our favorite characters of Naruto are still in it. They're just, you know, obviously smaller, a little bit more backlit, but excellent, excellent show. What else am I watching? I'm watching every week Magnus Bride. That's a newer one that just came out that I am definitely keeping up with every week. Now that one, okay. So Agnes Magnus Bride. Ugh, I can't even say it. Let me make sure I have it up. Okay. The Ancient Magnus Bride. There, I can talk. Is a fun one. It's a very magical one about a young girl who kind of gets wrapped up with a mage, and it's a very whimsical world, actually set in England, which is kind of fun. But so if you kind of like magic and kind of more whimsical, darker tone, that would be for you. Oh yeah, so a lot of people, one reason they don't like subs, like Brandon brought up, he reads fast, but sometimes the subtitle goes too fast. I totally get that. So if you want to just watch a show where it's like kind of on in the background and you can still work, I would suggest then doing dubbed. You know, that's really the difference with subtitles. Like, you'll really have to focus for subtitle stuff. Ancient Magnus Bride. It's just the Ancient and then Magnus, Magus, Bride. I think that's what you were asking, Brandon. On the same type of whimsical note, but going even more kind of sweeter, would be the Fox Spirit Matchmaker is one that I'm watching right now. It almost kind of reminds me of the same type of energy that Inuyasha had. If you ever watch Inuyasha, and I'll get more into like the ones that I started with, ones I suggest in the past. I feel like a lot of people just kind of want to watch what's new right now. So Fox Spirit Matchmaker is in a world where there are demons and there are humans, and there's these fox spirits that help when demons fall in love with humans to then make it so they can meet again in the next life, because humans' lifespans are so short. So the eternal demon, their human mate, if they pass away, then they've made a contract so they actually get reincarnated so they can spend the next lifetime together, and so on and so on and so on. So that's the general thing, but there's a lot of darker stuff that happens. There's villains, there's obviously a big bad that kind of comes in, that kind of stuff. Another one that I'm watching right now, Blockade Battlefront. Say that 3 times fast. This one is really interesting. I haven't quite decided, like, it's not one that I love, but I'm so fascinated by it because it takes place present day, real world, in New York. Some crazy catastrophe happened. Like, there's not really an explanation for it, but it basically like ripped a hole through dimensions, and now only in New York, only like in the actual like Manhattan, is this place where like demons and otherworldly like creatures and humans coexist. So it's this it's really interesting, and the lead character, it's kind of the story of him following into the group of people that fight and try to keep order, but he kind of fell into it. So it's another one of those hero stories that he didn't really want to be a hero, but now he is. But it's fun. That's another really fun one to watch. Again, I can't seem to get on here so I can see all your guys' comments. I'll try to keep up with you as best as I can. So let's see. What else am I watching right now? Okay, and then like I said, One Piece. One Piece can be a little scary. I'll connect that more to the original stuff that I used to watch, because that's a very long one. That is, how many episodes? 800 something. So I don't blame you if you don't want to get into it, but we'll talk about that. Black Clover is another new one that I really like. Now, for those who are watching it subtitles, I don't think it is in dubbed yet, but if you're watching it subtitles, the lead character, his voice can be pretty darn annoying at first. Like, he tones it down a little bit, he yells a lot, But Black Clover almost reminds me of a darker version of Fairy Tale, which is it's all about everybody has magic, and you try to get into if you want to like be a like full-on mage, you need to like go through school and then like get into the wizards like school kind of thing, and then you get separated into like ranks on top of that and like your own little like platoons, and then like all that kind of stuff. So that's another interesting dark one. I like that a lot. So that is all the new ones I'm watching right now. If you guys have ones that you're watching right now, please comment and I'll try to read them. But that's some of the ones that are still coming out right now. The ones that are on still a little bit of break right now, but are very new, as a lot of people talk about, is Attack on Titan. That's a really big one that a lot of people talk about. Okay, so Marco is asking, are there shows you definitely can't watch subbed or dubbed? Like you prefer one of the over? Okay, you can't watch Ranma 1/2 or Tenchi Muyo subbed. I feel you. So what's interesting about that, so back to the sub versus dub discussion, is that of course, when I first watched Dragon Ball Z, I only saw it dubbed, because that's what was on Cartoon Network, was only the dubbed, and that was before streaming services and all that. And at first, when I first heard especially Goku's voice in the original Japanese voice, at first I hated it. I couldn't stand it. I thought it was so annoying because it's a woman's voice. It's an older woman's voice. It's actually the woman who has been doing Goku's voice since he was a little kid in Dragon Ball, all the way through now to Super. I love her. She's amazing. But so that got me. I had to get used to that voice. But now I love it. But I can still, like, I love Sean Cheville, and of course I love Chris Sabat, and Mike McFarlane, the whole like cast of the dubbed version of DBZ, because I grew up on it. One anime that I absolutely cannot watch dubbed is Naruto. I can't stand it. The person doing the Naruto's voice, and maybe it doesn't bleed into Shippuden and like from then on, but at least the beginning of Naruto is so painstaking. It hurts. I can't do it. Other than that, I haven't been watching anything dubbed, so I don't know how the dubbed version goes, but I know I do have a lot of friends that they can't watch Dragon Ball Super, or they can't watch Dragon Ball Z while it's still subtitles. They have to wait until it comes out dubbed, just because of the Japanese voices kind of weird them out. Let me see if I can get it to it this way. Oh, I might have made it. Hello, there we go. Now I can see everybody's comments. Huzzah. Okay, so, oh yeah, Joshua completely agrees that the dubbed Naruto is really difficult. It is. It's very difficult. Other than that, I would say I actually don't know about the rest of them dubbed, because I watch everything subbed. Sorry to all my voiceover friends. I love you. I will always promote you and your stuff. Anyways, so back to Attack on Titan. So that's actually one, I know Mike McFarlane, and he, am I saying Mike? Yeah, I know Mike McFarlane, and he actually directed and is in the American English dub of that, and that one's incredible. The problem with Attack on Titan is it does suffer. So here are things that anime suffers from. One of them, like DBZ, is always known for taking too long for anything to happen, and everybody's charging up for too long, and oh no, next time on Dragon Ball Z, like it just takes too long. In a weird way, Attack on Titan actually suffers from this problem, so be prepared to binge it. I almost wouldn't suggest watching it each week, because it's really painful. Because what happens is they do about 10 minutes of last time on Attack on Titan, and then you get about like 10 minutes of actual like storyline, and then another 10 minutes of next time on Attack on Titan. But seriously, that's a very fun new one. Another new one that I can't wait for it to come back. I cannot wait for it to come back, and this is the one for all of my comic book friends and fans and all that kind of stuff. Everybody that like loves superhero movies, all that kind of stuff, and want to try out anime but are a little bit worried, my biggest suggestion for you would be My Hero Academia. This is a newer anime. I think they only have about 2 seasons out right now. They're on a little bit of a break. They should be coming back in March. Now this My Hero Academia, for one thing, it's beautiful artwork, and how it starts off is it shows you that it is a world where it's basically the X gene happened, where absolutely pretty much everybody has superpowers. They're all different. They call them quirks in this. And the main character, who wants to be a superhero so bad, never got a quirk. So he's like the one person that doesn't have a quirk. And the thing about superheroes in this universe is that they're almost like policemen. Like, they go to school to train to be a hero, and when they graduate, then they can be basically a paid hero, where they start off as a sidekick and then and like move their way up the ranks that way. And like, depending on how high they get is how much they get paid. It's really great. I don't want to say anything more than that because I don't want to spoil anything, but again, I will say my biggest suggestion for those who have never watched anime before, want to start off with something new, because a lot of people, the quintessential one was Cowboy Bebop. Again, watch Cowboy Bebop, it's incredible. But if you want something new and very kind of just so you can kind of catch up and then be on the same point as everybody else to watch the newest episode, My Hero Academia, for sure. Joshua actually brings up another anime that's incredible that you can watch on Hulu, basically everything. He says he's really waiting for the next season of One Punch Man and Tokyo Ghoul. They're going to be the series from the manga, so mysterious in the beginning. Yeah. So start with Tokyo Ghoul. Tokyo Ghoul is an amazing anime. It's very dark. It's kind of more of a horror anime. It is about, again, they love the theme of demons and in this they're actually called ghouls and humans coexisting, but not very well. So ghouls eat humans, but they can take human form, except for like if they feed or once they go in their ghoul form, they have these really cool, actually you can see some of the photos that I did when I went to the live action premiere movie, which was also very good. Tokyo Ghoul, very good. I don't know if when they plan to come back. They have 2 seasons out, really, really good. And then One Punch Man. Now the fascinating thing about One Punch Man is, so a lot of people use that as a suggestion to start with anime, is to use One Punch Man. Now One Punch Man is great, the artwork's incredible, it's hilarious, but I feel like you're not going to get all the jokes until you watch some anime first, because it's an incredible making fun of, yet homage to anime. It's beautiful. One Punch Man is fantastic. So it's basically about, like, the name kind of says it all. The main character is so super powered that he can end any fight with one punch, and it's just kind of, it's really over the top, and it's mainly about the other characters that kind of collect around him. They destroy the city every episode, but somehow it gets rebuilt. Like, it's very funny. It's a very good show. I highly suggest it, but I almost feel like you'll enjoy it more if you watch more anime, and then you'll get all kind of the inside jokes. Oh, I see. I see what you meant, Joshua, that it's going to be i.e. the manga. Gotcha. Yeah, so Tokyo Ghoul, the next season isn't necessarily coming out. We don't know if it's going to come out. This is the tricky thing about anime, too. A lot of them, they're all from manga. So what happens is the manga comes out, and once that's popular, they're like, hey, let's try a season of this thing. And sometimes they'll only do a season, maybe 2, and then it never comes back. No matter how good it is, it just doesn't come back, and that's it. That's all you get. So Tokyo Ghoul might be one of those, but it ends succinctly enough that you're not going to be super, super mad, but then you'll be ready to read the manga if you want to continue, as it looks like Joshua will. Brandon. Excellent, excellent. All right, so Brandon's bringing up, so these are more older animes, though some of them have been live action adaptations that have been coming out. So Brandon brings up Death Note, the anime. All right, I did not, admittedly, I actually own the 2 live action Japanese movies from like 10 years ago, but I've never watched them because I was told not to. But the actual anime of Death Note is incredible, and I didn't watch the Netflix live action one. I was told not to, so no offense, Netflix, I'm just not gonna watch it. Death Note is incredible. So what's funny is that I always take about 4 episodes. It always takes me 4 episodes to decide if I'm gonna continue with an anime. And with that, I think I only made it like 2 in, and then I was like, I can't stand this. Like, the lead is a terrible, terrible, evil person. I have no reason to watch this. But Death Note, the anime, is so good. It's so wonderfully stressful. It's like the Breaking Bad of anime. if I put it like that, because every episode you're like, how can he possibly get out of this one? Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. So if you haven't seen the commercials for the Netflix one, I have no idea what I'm talking about. Death Note is essentially, there's a Shinigami, which is a death god, attached to this notebook called Death Note, and all the person that has the notebook has to do is write somebody's name and how they die, and that person will die like that. Like, that's how they die. So it's a very dark one. It's very fun. Death Note, an excellent one. Okay, so Marco has a suggestion. Oh, Yuri on Ice. Okay. I feel bad because I'm going to pronounce them all wrong. I might think I can speak Japanese because I watch so much of it, but I'm going to pronounce it. Michiko and Hachin Fujiko Mine. So Yuri on Ice I've heard a lot about, so a little bit more about me and anime. I usually stay away from anything that's sports related at all. I know that sounds really silly, but like Yuri on Ice, it just didn't, like, again, I haven't even started it yet, to be fair. Also, things that I kind of stay away from are mech-based things, which is also silly because I love playing, I don't know if you can see it back here, one of these is my Battletech game. But of course I love like Garen Login, like all that kind of stuff is really good. Okay, O'Neill, okay. O'Neill Clave agrees that I need to watch Michiko and Hachin. Again, probably totally pronouncing it wrong. So that's one I just learned. We're gonna watch that one. Done. All right. So to kind of back up to different older anime that I adore. So back in the day, I like I said, I lived in Vermont. The only way that I was watching a lot of anime was this website. I think it still exists. Animeboy.org. I watched basically everything from there. I was addicted. I had a membership. It was a problem. But through there, I watched. Let's see. Oh no, actually, it was on Cartoon Network as well. Which now I was ready to say the name, and then I got distracted with realizing it was also on Cartoon Network, and that is Yu Yu Hakusho. Yu Yu Hakusho is another fun one. That's a big, but again, it's an older style, so you kind of have to get used to the very older artwork and all that kind of stuff. Oh, okay, and O'Neill also, because there's so many anime, so if you're more into like mech stuff and cars and that kind of stuff, Initial D, that's one I've heard of. I've not watched it, but I know a lot of people who like cars and racing and all that kind of stuff. That's another good one. What was it? Somebody brought up one that I love from a long time ago. On the movie side of stuff, there's so many, but one of my all-time favorites is Princess Mononoke. That is my movie. If I've had a rough day, or if it's just been a really bad week, I just put that on and I feel better. It's a very beautiful, very whimsical, sweet. It's the same, it's Miyazaki, so it's the same directors of Spirited Away, Nausicaa, and The Valley of the Wind, which I also suggest. Gosh, all of those. You could go for days. Oh, so Brandon was asking about Gigantor. I did not watch that. I should check that one out. I hear a lot about that one. Gosh, there's just so many anime, guys. That's what it comes down to. It's really hard to like zero in on all the. Oh, and of course, like Inuyasha. Like, so to be honest, there was a phase that I went through of watching like the really sweet romantic, like silly ones, where there's like Uran Host Club, which. If you're just looking, if you're a girl, or if you just want to have like a sweet romantic little thing, that's a good one. Special A, same flavor. That one's fun. Oh, wow. Yeah, Wings of, again, I don't know how to pronounce this. I apologize. I'm a terrible person for not knowing how to like I will recognize so many things. Like if somebody tells me the name of an anime, I'm like, what does it look like? What are the characters? Like I probably saw it but don't even remember the title of it because it's just so many things, so many words I don't understand. I would love to learn Japanese. That's like my #1 goal. What else? Oh, there's just so many that I love so much. Oh, Trigun is another excellent one. Oh, another newer anime that's very fun is Full Metal Alchemist. Now, some people will get confused because there's the original Full Metal Alchemist and then there's Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. So essentially what happened is Full Metal came out, the anime was going, but then it beat the manga. Like, the manga wasn't keeping up. So the anime, like, the manga kind of stopped and couldn't catch up, and so the anime just went way over here. But then the manga finished, and it ended up being a totally different story. So Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is the entire manga, which I loved both. I thought it was really interesting how different they were. The original Full Metal Alchemist ends with a movie, which is a good movie, all that kind of stuff. So if you're also confused that you see a movie as well, if you haven't watched either, don't watch the movie. It's going to kind of spoil things for you and not understand it. But so Full Metal Alchemist, another good one. Trigun is an older one. Love it. Like, literally looking behind me for what all the different anime that I absolutely adore. Anime movies. Okay, Akira. Now, when Akira came out, it was like bigger than Star Wars for Japan. It's an incredible movie. When I finished watching it, though, I got the feeling that it wasn't the full story, and it was a little confusing. Went back to find out. Again, the movie kind of went and finished before the manga was actually finished. It is 6 huge books. I don't have time. I could run over and grab them. They're like, if you want to get them, you can. They're like 5 or 6 huge books. But the manga is absolutely incredible. So Marco mentions he's heard everybody going crazy for Devilman Crybaby on Netflix. That one I've heard as well. Haven't watched it yet. Yeah. So viewer beware. His work can be kind of nuts. Yeah. That's the thing, is that, like, I almost want to start people off on more of the, like, not vanilla, but just the easier ones to kind of understand, and it doesn't get too crazy, and then be like, all right, well, if you like this, try this crazy stuff out. It's wild. This is a Bleach Ichigo or Hollow Ichigo necklace. I don't know where you can get it. I got it at a convention. Oh my gosh, I got it at the first New York anime convention back in 2007. Yeah, most of my stuff is from cons. Like, I even have my little one-piece earrings here. I got this at a really tiny convention in London this past year, so sorry I can't be more help. Bleach is another really good one. Unfortunately, so there's 2 things that'll happen to anime if they surpass the manga. Is either, and if anybody is confused about me saying manga, that's just the comic books in Japan. Sorry if I forgot to explain that. So there's 2 things that happens if it goes faster than the manga. Either A, it just kind of goes and does its own thing, screw you. Actually, there's 3 different versions. Or B, be like Dragon Ball Z, where I think it was Akira Toriyama wanted to go on vacation, and that's why it took 4 episodes for Goku to get the Spirit Bomb going, because he was gone for that whole time. He's like, you'll figure it out. So they'll just do filler. Or they do, like, this awful thing where they just kind of create this other, like, whole saga that'll happen. Naruto Shippuden at the end did the same thing. It made me crazy, where it would do these flashbacks that would turn into the most Inception thing ever, where it would be flashbacks within flashbacks within flashbacks, and I couldn't even, which was extremely annoying with Naruto, because I've watched them since childhood. Like, I've seen every episode. This didn't happen. Anyways. The same thing happened to Bleach. So unfortunately I didn't keep following Bleach, but the first few seasons I loved it. I actually have 2 Bleach necklaces. This one, and then also the Spirit Gate as a necklace. I loved that manga as well. Marco said Garlic Jr. returns saga in DBZ. We don't talk about the Garlic Jr. saga. Like, legit, nobody talks about that happening. Yeah, we won't talk about the Garlic Jr. saga. That's just doesn't happen. Oh yeah, Brandon Allen actually made a great observation that sounds like Game of Thrones surpassing the books. Yeah, it's got a lot of similarities. Let's see. And of course, like, one thing, I don't know if anybody saw the announcement, Robot Underdog, the next live action adaptation that they're doing is Blue Exorcist. So that's another very fun anime that is on, believe there's 1 season of it on Netflix, but it's mostly on Crunchyroll, Verve, and all those, Funimation, all that. That's a really cool one of kind of almost the same as Tokyo Ghoul, but not quite as dark and violent. It's a very good one. Shoot, and as soon as I start talking about one anime, I think of another that I wanted to mention. Blue Exorcist, Attack on Titan. If there's any ones that I'm missing, guys, let me know. I could literally talk about this for days. Like, if anybody has questions, let me know. Just to reiterate, if you are not an anime fan, but want to be, ones that are great to start with are, if you want to go more original, like older ones, Cowboy Bebop. Closer now would be, my biggest suggestion would be My Hero Academia. It's a very kind of easy, awesome, fun one. Another anime that I absolutely adore, and Donnie and Rita of Robot Underdog just got me into. Oh my gosh, it was back at WonderCon and I blew through it. There's like 5 or 6 seasons of it, destroyed it, which is Hunter x Hunter. Now, what's funny about Hunter x Hunter is the first episode you watch, you're like, oh, this is like little kids. This is kind of stupid. But once you get into it, it is so wonderfully dark. It's incredible. It gets a little strange, I admit. So this is not one I would suggest as a fresh new anime fan, because it gets really dark and gets a little strange at the end and very heady, but it's so good. So if you're cool with that type of like strangeness and headiness, go for it. Just start and just hit the ground running with that one. Hunter x Hunter, I cannot suggest that one enough. Gunslinger Girl. That one is a really interesting one. So there's 2 seasons, I believe 2 seasons, maybe more, which is a very quiet anime, if that's the best way I can describe it, and very heady. It's about small little girls being raised as assassins. So it's really interesting. O'Neill Clave brings up Seven Deadly Sins. That's a Netflix one. That's super fun, but if you're like me, there's like 1.5 seasons and I need more right now. Like, it's really frustrating. Like, I almost want to wait until it builds up and then like watch the rest. Blood Plus. Thank you, Brandon. Okay, so I know I'm way over my time, but I can't stop talking about anime. So Blood is a manga. The manga is incredible. The movie is much different than the manga, but very dark. Blood Plus is, I don't want to say lighter, but it goes throughout many seasons, and you don't necessarily have to watch the movie to understand the series. I actually equate it to the same difference of the movie versus the anime or the serial anime to, oh my gosh, why am I blanking on the name? My friends are going to be so mad at me that I'm blanking on the name. There's Samurai X and Samurai, somebody's going to help me on the stream. Lane, I know what you're talking about. Again, there's just too many anime. Why can't I think of, I'm going to be so mad. Okay, I'm going to put it in the comments later. But Blood and Blood Plus are, again, that's more of the horror genre, but very good, very fun. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Yeah, I have to talk about Samurai Champloo. You're right, O'Neill. I don't know how I missed Samurai Champloo. It's so good. It's so good. Samurai Champloo is amazing. Same people as Cowboy Bebop. Samurai Champloo is incredible, and I feel like that's a pretty succinct, like 2 or 3 seasons. Maybe I'm just remembering it that way because I blew through it because it's so good. The style, set in very early Japan. Obviously, samurai are involved. Very good one. But yeah. And the music is incredible. The same with Cowboy Bebop. That's the one thing about anime too. They take it so seriously and they really go to all levels. So Cowboy Bebop was like I said, one of my first ones. They had 3 different musical directors on that. They would actually build the sets of each of the places if they're having like a major fight scene, so that, and you can feel it too because how well it's drawn, like the different fight scenes. And on the same point as the music, they actually created a fake band within the universe called the Seatbelts. So they have 6 albums. I might own all of them. And it's great because there's obviously the music that is on the anime, but then there's other stuff, like there's this great album that's called Something for Freelance, and it's played like it's a radio show, and in between each song there's this like old gristled like radio host within the universe, and each song is actually a remix of, like, they remix Tank and they remix all this other stuff. It's incredible. So Music for Freelance, that's what it's called. Look it up. I bet they have it on iTunes and all that kind of stuff. It's incredible. Yeah, we could talk about this for days. We'll keep on going with the comments. Thank you guys again so much for hanging out with me again for Ruthday Tuesday. I'll be back with the ladies on Saturday for our Weekend Rager Nerd Rage. So if you have some ideas of news this week in the nerd, geek, pop culture world that you want to rage about, put it on our wall, comment it on one of our last videos. Look forward to that. I don't know if you can see my sweet GeekChic promotion shirt, but please check out our website. We're selling all sorts of merchandise on there. Some of it designed by the awesome Leslie Nesbitt of Nesbitt Tidbits. And thank you guys again for watching, and we'll see you next week.